Okay, everybody, I'm using my indoor voice. And don't make me use my outdoor voice because inside that could be very deadly. Most of you guys know me, I'm Palmer, and today is we're having our second edition of the Bonaventure Big Pitch. I gotta be careful how I say that. Woo! Do not record all this stuff. So our second edition, this is our second time to do it. And like I said, we're gonna run this, we're gonna run it pretty tight. And I think that we're going to come out here, 5 teams are going to get $300 each, okay? And then the other teams will get steak knives. That's from a movie. That's it. So the winner gets a Cadillac, second prize is steak knives, and then everybody else is fired. That's how we're going to do it tonight, okay? So well, before we get started, or as we get started, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Bob Fortis. Bob right here is a local business celebrity. Actually, he's being honored for something. Or have you already been honored? Oh, I'm sorry about that. That honor's gone. So anyway, Bob is a very, very close partner with the university, and Bob is head of the Olean Business Development Corporation. And him, along with Tom Cullen, they had the Lane Business Accelerator. And so many of you guys have, over the years, interacted with many of those companies, and it's really, really exciting to work this. We work with them not only through the annual, fall semester weekly meetings, but we also do C4. We do a lot of work there, so it's been a lot of fun. So without any further ado, one last thing too before I talk about this, I will be out here in the back, and I will give you the 1 minute. You got 6 minutes for your signal. I will be keeping time. So when I wave or something like that, that means you got 1 minute, okay? So without any further ado, the Mr. Amazing Bob Fortis.
Thank you. So I'm pinch hitting for Tom. Tom and I had a conversation earlier in the fall. I would be around him and he'd be like, "Oh," I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I'm missing a soccer game," or "Oh, I'm missing, some other kid event." So I was like, "Tom, stop missing your kid events." And this just happened to coincide with his older daughter, Lauren, getting inducted into the Junior Honor Society at Cattaraugus Little Valley. So he's like, "I don't know what to do." I'm like, "I think you know what to do. You go to that. I can do this." So I won't be Tom. I'm not as good as Tom as this, but we're going to get rolling. So 6 minutes, look at Palmer. These 4 folks here are the judges. We got Joe DeSorbo, Haley Jones, Steve McLean, Ethan Paul. We won't get into their stories. Every one of them is amazing. But they're going to be kind of keeping track of what you guys are up to. And hopefully at the end of this, I'll be able to hand some money to some cool prospective businesses. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to team number 1, Grit Labs.
My name is Davis Matney. I'm a student athlete here at St. Bonaventure. As a junior athlete, I always found that the way you perform the best is with proper recovery, which is why I wanted to introduce to you Grit Labs. Playing and practicing breaks the body down. Recovery is what helps recover your body to the fullest extent. There are two types of recovery methods. There are outside recovery methods. These are things such as Theraguns, masseuses, and compression boots, which help break up lactic acid from the inside or from the outside in. Then you have things that you ingest, which I call inside recovery methods. These are things like anti-inflammatories like tart cherry and ginger, which help reduce inflammation in the body, nitrates like beetroot that help oxidize the blood and move blood around the body more easily, and electrolytes. Electrolytes are the most important minerals that you can put in your body. And the 3 that stand out to me are sodium, magnesium, and potassium. Most companies focus on things such as drinks, powders, pills, and some snacks. Problems with these is they don't focus on the proper recovery tools that we need to perform at our best. Companies such as Cliff Bars, Liquid IV, Gatorade, or even Powerade are companies that I'm talking about. My solution to this problem is a portable recovery fruit snack specifically designed for athletes. It would be convenient, no mixing, measuring, or refrigeration, and it would support recovery with hydration and anti-inflammatory benefits. Our target market are college athletes, high school athletes, and casual gym goers that go frequently. This market is big. Billions of dollars are spent each year on producing proper recovery and performance tools. But there is a problem. These recovery products might not be always accessible right after activity. Furthermore, there are no portable recovery methods that are in this market today. Grit Labs offers a portable, resealable, and easily accessible product for all athletes. Each gummy costs $1.25 to make. We would sell each pack for $4 to $5 per pack, and we would start at local nutrition stores in New York, and then we would expand through known stores around New York and the state. Grit Labs aims to make recovery better, to fuel better athletic recovery. Recovery is the most important piece in an athlete's journey. Grit Labs wants to make it portable, affordable, and convenient for all athletes. Thank you.
Great job. I waited to play tennis here a long time. Awesome. Thank you to Grit Labs. Up next, we have, if I'm reading this right, Time Tree. Just one? All right. Just wanted to make sure I didn't need to hand out two microphones. To go at rapid speed, too. When you guys are done, Caleb's going to grab them from you and hand you a new sheet. All right, go ahead, Time Tree.
Hey everyone, I'm Tarushi, and I'm a sophomore biology major. And by the show of hands, I wanted to ask how many of you guys use social media apps like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube? Okay, so basically everyone. Well, how many of you guys know how much carbon dioxide these social media apps produce? Okay, none of you guys. So that's the problem. We're often using our phones, but we're not realizing the carbon dioxide that these apps can produce. So let's take a closer look at that impact. So let's take Instagram, for example. We see that it produces 9,500 kilograms of carbon dioxide per year. And for a more relevant number, that's the equivalent to producing around 1.2 million cups of tea. And what carbon dioxide, as many of you already know, it's a greenhouse gas. And what it does is that it traps heat, and that contributes to climate change, global warming, and environmental damage. So what is important to note here is that it's not just our individual phones that produce these carbon emissions. When we're sending a text, uploading a video, or even streaming, we are sending this information to things called data centers. And what these data centers do is that they run off of a lot of electricity, which is responsible for these carbon emissions. And when you're thinking about 1 billion of people every day sending texts, streaming videos, and uploading a ton of things, then that contributes to a massive impact. So how do we fix this? That's basically what my app does. So what my app does is that it translates your screen time into carbon emissions. So it tells you how much carbon dioxide is released from your individual screen time. And right now, there is currently a gap between productivity and sustainability models. So we have apps that allow people to be productive and sustainable, just not at the same time. So what Time Tree does is that it bridges this gap. It allows people to be productive and environmentally conscious at the same time. So it's encouraging you to stay off your phone, not just the sake for being productive, but also for the sake of the environment. So we currently already have screen time apps. We have Flora and Opal, and we also have sustainability apps like Jewelbug and the Carbon Website Tracker. But what's important to note here is that there's nothing that's combining both of them, which is what my app does. So in terms of management capability, I will be coding the entire app, and I will also be integrating UI design. And I'm a STEM major, so I have the ability to problem solve. I've just gone through a semester of organic chemistry lab, and it has been awful. So I'm pretty much invincible at this point. And it also is going to leverage tools like Claude, which is an AI tool which helps with coding, and that's going to improve the product and require updates. So in terms of the revenue model, what is important to note here is that we have two models. We have the free tier and the premium, and it uses a freemium model. So this is kind of how Spotify works. We have this free version, and we have this basic version. And what the free version does is that it's going to have the basic tools. So you're going to be able to look at how much carbon dioxide your screen time produces, but it's not going to give you an in-depth analysis like the premium tier is going to give you. And we're also going to have something called a low carbon mode, and that's going to be telling you how much carbon dioxide you produce even when you're not on your phone, which is kind of cool. In terms of the growth strategy, our phase 1 is going to be launching the MVP, which is the minimal viable product, and that's going to include core features of the app, which include just the screen time and carbon dioxide calculations. And we're going to focus on user acquisition, so we're going to basically attract young individuals like ourselves who are notoriously known for being on their phones all the time. And for the midterm growth, we're going to introduce premium features and personalization. We're going to also add a gamification aspect, which is going to encourage users to stay on the app. And for the long-term expansion, we're hoping to partner with things like Apple Screen Time, which is what we already have on our phones, and include that carbon dioxide emission impact. And we're also going to partner with Google Calendar and ChatGPT. So New York City is right now a bustling tech hub, so we have tech builders and tech users, which is very good for this product. And this provides an ideal environment for growth and early potential for investment. And right now, New York is also known for its sustainability initiatives, and increasingly, this is gonna help the app grow. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope you guys realize that your phones do have an impact, because I know a lot of people didn't know that. So thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Time Tree. Up next, we have Connect.
What do you want to do today?
Want to go golfing?
I hate golfing, and it's way too cold. But we could go shopping.
That's boring.
There's nothing to do around here ever. Have you ever had this problem where you and your friends just can't figure out what to do or where to go? Well, that's when we came up with the idea of Connect. There's no place around here that's active, social, and engaging at the same exact time. And on top of that, nights out usually involve sitting around and spending money, whether that's at a bar, a restaurant, or just hanging out. At the same time, not everybody wants to do the same exact thing. Somebody might want to play a game, while another person wants to do sports, and the other person just wants to do something entirely different. People don't want to go to places anymore. They want experiences. So, Connect is basically a social entertainment venue where people connect through competition. It is where people are not just sitting around, they're doing something together. We have 3 basic principles: competing, connecting, and rotating. So, first with compete. Whether it's golf, basketball, or interactive games, there's always something competitive going on. Secondly, connect. The whole experience is designed for groups, friends, teams, or even people meeting just for the first time. And lastly, rotating. You're not stuck doing just one experience the entire time. You rotate through different things so that you get an exciting experience the entire time.
Here's how Connect actually works. Before you arrive, you book as a group, and then you check in. And then you compete. You play games like golf, basketball, and other interactive challenges. And then you rotate. Every 15 to 20 minutes, you move through multiple experiences in the same visit.
So what's actually inside of Connect? Well, we're not just offering one activity. We are offering an entire experience. We have golf simulators for both casual and competitive players. We have basketball challenges where you can compete head-to-head with your friends. We have arcade and skill-based games that test reaction coordination and accuracy. Interactive experiences like reaction games and boxing challenges to keep it fast-paced and fun. And lastly, group experiences like escape rooms and social games that keep everything entirely exciting. So it's designed to be competitive, social, and something people want to come and do again.
So how do we make money? First, entry passes, which are roughly $20 to $30 per person per visit. And then group bookings. This is how we drive value, $120 to $180 per group. And then lastly, second to last, memberships, which is at $15 to $25 per month, which will give reoccurring revenue to Connect. And then, of course, food and beverage, $10 to $20 per person. This averages revenue of $30 to $50 per person per visit.
Now let's talk about the cost side of things. There's three main drivers. First is equipment and build out, things like golf simulators, courts, and the technology that go into creating the experience. Second is lease and space. Because this is a large, high-traffic venue, location is a key cost. And third, labor and operations, things like staff, maintenance, and keeping everything running smoothly day to day. So while there are higher upfront costs, once everything is installed, those costs become relatively stable, and it allows to generate strong long-term margins. Next, who is Connect actually built for? Well, our target market is centered around people who already spend money on social experiences. For starters, we have college students. They're always looking for something affordable and group-based entertainment. Secondly, we have young professionals, people who are looking for something fun to do after work and social. And lastly, groups and events, things like birthday parties, team events, and social gatherings. The common theme is that they're all looking for a fun group experience, and we're targeting high-frequency users and not just one-time customers.
Our growth strategy is simple and scalable. We start by launching our first location near a college or a high-traffic area where demand is already built in. And once proven, we expand into similar markets, replicating the same model in similar cities. And then we scale through franchising or partnerships to grow nationwide. Because this is a repeatable model, each new location becomes easier, faster, and more profitable. First, it's a unique experience. We're combining multiple social activities into one place. Second, it's a scalable model. This is something we can repeat in multiple different markets. And third, we have a strong team. We understand both the business side and what users actually want. And at the end of the day, we're not just building a venue. We're building the future of social entertainment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, thanks, Connect. Next up, we have Winks, if I'm pronouncing that right. All right.
Y'all let me know when y'all ready. Are we good? All right, so my name is Winter Dublin, and let me introduce you to Winks VFX. Personally, I'm a storytelling-driven media professional, and before coming to St. Bonaventure University, I looked at a very interesting issue that I'll be talking about right now. Collegiate women's rugby teams are producing extremely talented student athletes and leaders, but these same teams are struggling to find consistent digital media presence, that accurately reflects their athletic, emotional, and cultural impacts that the athletes have. And here are 5 main issues. First, there's inconsistencies in their digital media presence. Athletes aren't positioned as stories. Invisible program culture, lack of narrative and recruitment-based storytelling, and then missed opportunities for community engagement. If I had to sum up those 2 things, all these problems, it's those 3 words. Inconsistencies aren't invisible. Well, let me tell you how I solve all these issues. There's a clear opportunity for here. The rugby programs have all the athletes, the culture, and the stories, but they lack the digital media to position themselves as stories. That's the opportunity, and I'm here to solve it. Through athlete-centered storytelling, digital identity building, recruitment-based content, culture-driven media strategy, and stronger audience connection, I'm looking to build these underdeveloped teams into something that has visually engaging and memorable brands. AKA, my market is the growing need for women's sports to be like having transformative media that positions themselves as something that people can connect with, follow, and remember. Let's look at some of the campaigns that I did alongside SB Women's Rugby. So first is a Mic'd Up series. This is our culture piece. And then we have our All-Star presentation, and then our Colors of Rugby series. Here, this is all intentional storytelling. And I'll tell you why. First, we highlight the athlete stories. This is through our Mic'd Up piece. Then we capture the culture of the team, also through our Mic'd Up piece, and then also to our Colors of Rugby series. Then we create strong engagement across the platforms. If you looked at our engagement metrics underneath each of them, and then we reach audiences beyond the team, which is the account reach, and then our viewership splits, which all lean towards non-followers. Again, I'll recap these. Most of our top campaigns reach anywhere from 4,000 viewers to 17,000 viewers. Multiple posts, as I mentioned, reach more non-followers and followers. Content expanded visibility amongst the current audience, which is our accounts reached. And then engagement not just shows that people were seeing the content, but they were connecting with it, which is our shares and our likes. I would like to also point you to the graph, which shows that September and October are our peak months, which makes sense, we're in season. But it does dip off towards December. But I would like to also point you to our growth of followers, which still proves that we're gaining followers, even though that is a down month. The results show that storytelling is not just creative, it's effective. But if you won't believe me, and you won't believe our analytics, please believe the coach of the women's rugby team.
I think it's had a huge and very positive impact. I think, social media is so present today in everything that exists. And for people that are considering the university or that are curious about our program, for them to be able to see more of the day-to-day as opposed to, oh, this is the game results, oh, this is just a try. See the girls together, to see the practices, to see them laughing, to see them smiling together. I think that's been hugely impactful. I think it makes our social media stand out and gives you a full perspective of what we're doing here. Now that we've had this change in our social media, we can't go back to just posting regularly. I see how empowering it is for the girls to get their highlights, to see themselves on film doing these incredible things and in such beautiful quality. That and the media day, that was so empowering. And for us, for you to have come up with the idea to do the silhouettes, that was unique and different and something that no other program has done. And it's just so powerful. So I think for them, they feel empowered, they feel seen, they feel strong. And I think that's so important as athletes competing at this level, and it gives them that confidence boost. That's unique. All they're talking about is how much they're seeing of what our social media is and how exciting it is, and that's something that they really want to be part of. I feel like we have something really special to offer here, but it's a small college in upstate New York that not everyone has heard of. But for them to be able to see, like I said, what the day in the life is like, the girls smiling together, not just the scores, not just the results, but a whole community, an idea of what our community is like. I think that makes us very interesting, and I think it makes recruits interested in us. They get to see themselves represented, and they get to be part of leaving the jersey in a better place, and it's so beautifully covered. I think it just really impacts their experience in a positive way, and it's something that they're really excited about, and it's something that they're excited to be part of and continue to help grow and develop.
So if you won't believe me, you won't believe our analytics, and you won't believe the coach, believe the people just like you who are commenting on our post and liking our stuff. So now you may be asking, what is Winx in the long run? Well, I'm positioning myself two ways. One, in the short term, delivering storytelling-based digital media that helps teams strengthen their visibility, aka freelance work. But in the long term, I see myself helping larger organizations like the WNBA drive their digital media even further. So basically, I'm positioning myself as a working media solution and a portfolio of proven impact. Basically, I'm building work that translates from collegiate rugby to larger environments. So how I make money? Basically, my immediate revenue comes from freelance work. My recurring revenue is something like the season-long partnerships that I have, like the one with SB Women's Rugby. And then my future primary income, as I mentioned, would be long-term contract work with, let's say, the WNBA. My prices for freelance work are starting at like $300 and $500. This is because For my pricing reflects my production time, my editing labor, and my equipment use, and then the quality of my deliverables. But where I'm really focused on making a change is right here with SBU Women's Rugby, and these are 3 ways I'm doing it, and this is what I see grow for myself. 1, we have to build consistent match day and social coverage as a basis. Then we have to start strengthening our recruitment content, player storytelling, and our team identity while sustaining a lasting digital legacy for the program that we're currently creating. Winx grows by deepening its value within SBU Women's Rugby and then its immediate impact for women's sports in New York. This is where you can find me if you ever need any photography. And then, thank you.
All right, thank you, Winx. Ooh, the judges are getting the rhythm going. That's good. Caleb's keeping the rhythm going, which is good. All right, next up we've got Pancho. Am I correct? All right.
So, when somebody needs to find a plumber, a landscaper, or even an HVAC repairman, what's the first thing they do? They search online, they check social media, they look for recent activity. If nothing shows up, they move on. And that's where the gap begins. I'm David Brown, and I started Poncho Entertainment to solve that exact problem. So we create content that businesses can use to stay active, don't mind the picture, online. And that was a simple example of what we can do. Now these are 2 examples of recent posts used to promote Poncho Entertainment. So we help local businesses, like myself, stay consistently active online through structured content, while owners can focus on just their business. Now to validate this, I audited 50 service-based businesses in Cattaraugus County. Roughly 60% had not posted in the last 30 days or were inconsistent, and fewer than 20% showed structured activity. So the issue isn't effort, it's visibility. In Western New York's 8-county region, there's over 34,000 businesses. Service industries dominate the local economy. Roughly, or there's like 80% employment rate. So in New York State alone, there's 2.4 million small businesses. So there's 2.4 million small businesses across New York State. Service industries are all over, and they dominate pretty much New York State in general. So here is a short example of commercial work produced for a local business owner. So while a core service focuses on structured social media content, the same production process applies. So, and feedback like this reinforces something important. Businesses benefit from having professional media of their work shown. So the base service is $350 per month. Businesses get consistent professional media of their work without having to manage it themselves. So, this is delivered through our process, or my process, called Poncho Proven Process. Pretty much, keep in mind, business owners typically spend 5 to 10 hours each month managing content themselves. If their time is worth $50 per hour, that's already $250 to $500 in opportunity cost each month. So, and we average around 100 per client, targeting a 60 to 70% margin. So as more clients get added on, the business scales quickly. At 10 clients, annual revenue exceeds $42,000. At 25 clients, over $105,000. And at 50 clients, the business generates over $50,000 per year. So we help local businesses across New York State by strengthening their digital presence and keeping revenue local. As the company grows, we create structured, creative roles within the regional ecosystem, meaning this is a scalable service model rooted in New York State. So the first thing customers do is search. If nothing's there, they move on. Poncho Entertainment saves businesses time and money with a structured monthly content system, so when they do search, something's there consistently. Thank you.
Thanks, Pancho. Entertainment. I didn't have the second word, my bad. Boy, you guys really are getting fast at this. So next up, we have Fresh Form. Come on down. Hey, you're wearing different clothes than you had on when I just met you in the cafeteria.
I'm Mila Batts.
And I'm Michaela Sand.
And today we're pitching for Fresh Form. So there's this girl named Brooke. She's 22 years old, and she just graduated from college. She's looking to get into the workforce, but she's having a lot of anxiety because she wants to get a good job. Especially, she is stressing about things that she cannot control, like sweating through her clothes. For most of her life, she couldn't wear any light-colored clothing because of these sweat stains. When she started looking online, she realized that most of the market was geared towards men and their sweating problem. When she started looking deeper, she saw that there was these things called sweat pads. Unfortunately, though, they were destructive towards the environment because they were not reusable and they wouldn't be good for the environment, as well as they would ruin your clothes. Then she started finding undershirts from Thompson's Tees. These were great, but unfortunately, for the warmer weathers coming up, layers was not the best option for sweating, as well as she found that there wasn't very many options for professional type clothing. Finally, she looked at knee, but unfortunately there was only one type of women's clothing, while the rest 50 were all geared towards men, and that just shows the further misrepresentation of women and their sweating problem.
So this is an AI-generated photo of kind of what our business idea looks like. So we decided to make women's professional light-colored clothing that women couldn't wear before, and they would have pads under the armpits so you wouldn't sweat through them. They wouldn't look this thick. This is obviously AI-generated, but that's just the idea of it. And especially in New York, the summers get hot, and in the winter, even though the outside is cold, every building is heated, so everywhere you go, you can be sweating.
Here are just some designs that we came up with. They vary in styles, shapes, sizes, and color. And notice how these are all light-colored clothing. Women tend to have issues with wearing any type of light-colored clothing as they are easily sweat through, unlike the dark ones.
So for the padding themselves in the shirts, we decided on a bamboo material that is multi-layered and has a woven material so it doesn't break, so it can go through the washing machine or drying machine. It is also removable, so it's easier to wash, so the smell can go out. And this product is already found in makeup removers and reusable period pads for women, so they're super absorbable for sweat specifically. So for the product itself, we decided to outsource our production into Vietnam. They have a good government standing right now, as well as good working conditions, and most importantly, it's much cheaper to produce in Vietnam compared to the United States. So this is kind of our cost breakdown. A majority of our cost does come from our materials and labor, as well as our shipping. So on the website that we will show you in a bit, we will mention that there's free shipping, which everyone loves to see. So the pricing of our shirt, break-even point is about $14. We would price it at about $32. That's almost a $10 profit per shirt sold. So this profit margin will just drive our business further.
Some of our short-term goals is really to hire some workers to make sure our process goes as smooth as possible as starting off as a new brand. We also want to make sure it's recognized between a variety of customers, especially women and ones freshly graduated out of college. So first, we have our website and what it would look like. We used AI to do a mock photo shoot of some images that we would post both on our website and our Instagram. On our Instagram, we also wanted to make sure we post on Instagram and Facebook because that's where a majority of our audience is. For our long-term goals, we hope to get into other industries of clothing that women tend to have issues with, like bras, and the padding would be underneath the bra, and then also pants. We also hope to get into department stores or have our own physical store so people can come in and try on in real time to see what styles, colors, shapes, and sizes that fit them and they like best.
So with any business, there's business risks. So one of them, environment, natural disasters, including tsunamis, hurricanes, all disrupt business activity. We have economic problems, taxes, inflation, tariffs, all create problems with business and their suppliers. And then external and internal businesses, whether it's internal partners and workers or external partnerships, they can all create miscommunications and problems in a business world.
Success it, don't stress it with
Freshform. So this is our Works Cited. Thank you all for listening.
Very cool. Some really neat ideas. Lots of different variety of things that you guys probably spend a lot of time thinking about all the time. And to be able to funnel it into 6 minutes with Palmer trying to lead you is really impressive. So I think we're ready to roll next. Next up we have Screen Time Champion. Here we go. It's like a mystery. I don't know who's going to stand up.
All right, I want to start by asking everybody to look to their left, to the right, to the person sitting next to them. Chances are, throughout this event, you've seen them check their phone at least once. Think back to it. In 2024, Zablotsky et al. Did a study, and they found that excessive screen time of 4 hours or more led to increased anxiety and to increased depression. Screen time is a real disease, and we're trying to find a cure. Current treatments for this disease include Apple's Screen Time app and Android's Screen Time, which gives you a boring but detailed description of your screen time. It breaks it down day by day and week by week. It also uses passive notifications, which can easily be learned to be ignored. Enter my app, Screen Time Champion, the only app that turns your screen time into a competition with your friends. Let's look at the app piece by piece. I also want to say that all screenshots in this presentation are straight from the app, as the app is fully built and production ready. So when you open the app, you'll see a health bar. The health bar goes down every minute that you use your screen time, motivating you to stay off your phone to keep your character alive. You'll also see solo and team focus raids. Focus raids motivates you for you set a timer, and then you don't use your phone at all during that timer, you get a big health boost or a big XP boost. And the team focus raids allow you to work together with your partners to all focus. Once everybody completes the focus during that time frame, then everybody gets a huge XP boost. And then you'll also see the competitive player arenas. We'll come back to those as that's the main point of the app. On the next screen, we also have those same boring stats that Apple and Android also have, because they can kind of be useful, I will admit. We also show trends, like your daily trends and your weekly trends. You can think of that kind of like, if you ever have used the health app on your phone, it'll tell you like, you're walking more this year than you did last year, or you're sitting on the couch more this year than you did last year. It's kind of like that, but for your screen time. And I mentioned XP earlier. What does that XP actually do? You can use the XP to level up your character. Right now, I'm only on level 2 because I just kind of started using my own app. And so every day that I don't use my phone, that HP that I got turns into XP, which builds up to level up my character, and I can unlock up to 10 levels of new characters. So I mentioned earlier, what really separates this app from the million other screen time apps out there? I wasn't even the first screen time app to present at this exact presentation. It's the competitive edge. Right now, there are no screen time apps that turn your screen time into a competition. So when you join the app, you can create a unique arena ID, which your friends can type in that code and join their arena. Then you can see all of your friends' screen time. Whoever wins at the end of every day gets a huge XP boost and a huge HP boost. And then whoever's losing loses a little bit of XP. So motivate them to not use their phone. Also, who wants to let down their friends and use their phone too much? So where are we right now? Currently, the app is fully built and it's in beta testing. We're actually looking for more beta testers. So if anybody's interested in being a beta tester for this app, please let me know. All you need is an Android phone, as it's currently only in the Google Play Store. And so after 2 weeks of at least 12 people testing the app, hopefully we'll receive approval by Google to be in the Play Store as a fully downloadable app. And then we hope to reach 1,000 app users within 1 to 3 months of being on the Play Store. After it's successful in the Play Store, we'll look towards being in the iOS App Store. The reason we're doing this second is because the App Store has a higher barrier to entry. It's more expensive and more difficult to code, and you also need to have a Mac computer, which I don't have. And so then once we're in the App Store for about a month, we should be fully developed on all the different platforms, Android and iOS. Based on surveys and also other screen time similar apps that have been successful, we have 1.5 million potential users for this app. And so how are we actually going to make money? We're also going to use a freemium subscription model. So the basic core part of the app, the competition with your friends, is free for everybody. But in the free version, we cap that at 3 people per group. This small number will really encourage people to join a bigger group that has someone that pays for the full version. If just one person in the group pays for the subscription, then everybody in the group can have unlimited members. And the subscription is only $1.99 a month. So what will we do with the money? This was before the prize was increased. So I've already put some money into the app. I've spent $25 on a developer fee for the Android Play Store, and I also have spent $25 on a developer phone. So those are fixed, they're already done. And so with the remaining money, I mentioned that Apple is more expensive. It costs $100 a year to be in the iOS App Store, so I'll put that towards that. Also, we want to have a professional website to go along with this app and advertise. To buy a domain name that looks professional costs about $50. And so how can this app connect with New York State, both local community and with the state? So New York State recently passed a law that prevents high school students from using their phone at all in school. This app works in conjunction with that by further motivating those high school students to stay off their phone. Also, if any of you are college professors, you probably notice in your classes that students use their phone a little bit too much. They're always checking their phone. This will further motivate those students to stay off their phone. While this might not be a cure for the disease, it sure is a good treatment. Thank you.
Well done, screen time champion. All right, you guys are cruising along great. Thanks for keeping to the times and having all this enthusiasm. You guys are really energetic. It's awesome. So next up we have rhythm.
Hi, my name is Ryan Forsyth, and this is Rhythm Music Management. 20 years ago, the barrier to enter the music industry was extremely high. Artists needed a record label that would help them out with a massive recording budget and help them distribute their music. The digital revolution changed that. Now artists can get high-quality recordings in their bedroom, and they can distribute to global markets through streaming services at an extremely low cost. Yet, 90% of independent artists do not achieve a sustainable income level. In order to understand a little bit more about where this problem is coming from, we have to look at what those successful artists do in that 10%. A successful independent artist checklist: artists need to write, record, distribute, produce, promote, practice their music at a consistent level in order to just reach an audience. So how many of these independent artists make it through each one of these steps? 11.3 total million artists exist today. 7.5 of those artists consistently record their music. 5.4 consistently distribute it. And then 1.35 go out and perform it. And only 480,000 are consistently promoting their music. This is ridiculous. Artists are getting burnt out so quickly, and you're seeing a big drop-off, especially after distributing. The current options for artists to manage themselves through these processes are either DIY, which can get overwhelming, stressful, and confusing, or they could maybe have a chance to sign with a record label, but record labels are selective, they're controlling, and often they leave artists with only 15% share of their profit. In that middle ground, there's nothing. And in New York State alone, there's 32,000 artists that fit right there. Introducing Rhythm Music Management. We help artists find their own rhythm in their management process. Our 3-tiered subscription system fits the needs of artists across the spectrum. Tier 1 is Tempo. For $10 a month, artists can use our management dashboard platform that features a group calendar, a song progress board, a setlist designer, a promotion planner, and an income tracker. Let's look at a demo of what this does. Here's our band calendar, where artists can schedule practices, schedule gigs. They can upload set lists so that they know what to practice beforehand and keep them on task. Here's our song dashboard. They can upload anything into these songs like MP3 files and lyrics, and they can track the status of them, like from writing to learning to polishing. Then they can group them into set lists, and this will help them be prepared for different performances and get them all set up for what they need for a gig. Then we have our promotion planner, where they can create specified rollouts for any specific event, like a release or a gig or something that they want people to show up for. Finally, we have our income tracker that will help them treat themselves like a business and keep their income and their finances in check. Tier 2 is Groove. For $100 a month, our management team will keep artists on tempo through our management dashboard where we can keep checking on them. Bi-weekly meetings for about 30 minutes, so an hour a month, and access to our promotional tools. What sorts of promotional tools do we offer? We offer ad templates, playlist pitching, which puts them in direct contact to playlist curators that can get them talking to an audience that they really want to be directed at. Merch templates. Merch is a key part of an artist's journey because that's where their main source of income is. Industry contacts, and a website builder that will have a landing page for their fans. Tier 3 is Pulse. For $500 a month, our management team lets the band breathe by keeping the groove for them. That whole checklist will be right by their side throughout every single one of those processes and letting them do the art and letting us do the management. Throughout that whole process, and just like all of our other steps, artists still retain 100% ownership and 100% of their revenue, and we take a subscription cost for the fees that for us. Additionally, in the Tier 3 level, artists have access to our studio located in Buffalo, New York, where we're planning on starting this business out of, and they can record their music there and practice in there. Here is a website that we've built out for a client, The Necessities. We're featuring some of the merch that we designed for them. Visitors can also take a look at their music, and we have a community section where they can engage with their fans. Let artists focus on being artists, or just let artists be artists with Rhythm Music Management. Thank you.
Great job, Rhythm. You guys need new pens, or you're still good? It's interesting how nobody sat in the very middle. Is that normal, Dr. Palmer? Yeah. Yeah. All right, we're ready for our next one. Vital AI.
Are we good? All right, so my company is Vital AI. Real quick to start, I want everybody to think of a New Year's resolution, whether it was like this year, maybe one that you want to start next year, anything. And I'll imagine that most of you are going to think something along the lines of, I want to be healthier. I want to start going to the gym. And this is what I like to call the New Year's problem. 80% of people who are going to say, I'm going to start going to the gym, I'm going to get healthier, drop out after 3 months. That's huge. And then, let alone when it's not New Year's, just a regular time of the year, 40% are still dropping out. Why do 80% drop out? So I've been doing this for about 8 months now. I've done a lot of research, and the number one thing I find people saying is they don't have any structure. There's no plan, there's no coaching. Most areas, people don't have a high enough income to really be able to afford a personal trainer. So that's the first one. Then with that, when you don't have a plan, you're not going to see very good results. The results are going to be slow, and hence drive fades. If you don't see a benefit, why are people going to keep doing it? But I want to point out, why does this matter to gyms? See, gyms, 80% of the money that they're going to receive comes from memberships. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Customer acquisition. So as a gym, marketing, you're looking at $400 just to get one customer to come in the door. And so you're telling me I'm going to pay $400 for a customer to come in the door and then leave after 3 months? I mean, that's a lot, especially because you're only getting $60 a month on average. And then when there's no community. When there's no community, that's what successful gyms succeed with, is they have a community. People that are going to be loyal. They're going to be there next month. They're going to go tell their friends, yo, you should come to this gym. And that is the easiest marketing that a gym can get, and hence the marketing they want. So now I should probably get into what Vital AI is. So the solution to this problem, how do I keep people out of gym? You need to start by providing coaching, and then it just goes from there. When they have coaching, they see results, they stay. And this is where Vital AI comes in. We come in at the provide coaching step. So what do we specifically do? We give, well, it's driven by AI. So AI, large language models, provide personalized plan based on users' preferences, goals, things like that. It does progress tracking, so it's going to track your progress, give you clear, visible displays of that. Adaptive coaching. Over time, the AI adapts. It sees trends in your workouts, and it's going to change reps, weights, stuff like that. Gamification. I've been working with a mentor. He's super helpful, and he really sees the power of gamification, which I didn't really see at first. Gamification gives somebody a tangible something to reach for. And then what makes Vital AI special is we tailor it to the gyms. So we're not selling to the individual. We sell to the gyms, and then the gyms sell to the individual. So we'd like to target independent, middle-income type gyms in middle-income type areas. We sell to the gyms at a flat monthly rate. So they pay us. We give them the entire thing. We go, we survey their entire gym, all the equipment, give them their own package, which then they take to their members. The effects this is going to have on the gym. Number one, the improved profits. I mean, if you can say that another person is going to come back the next month, you're getting that right away, another month of their membership. You're getting them to subscribe to the AI. And then third, you're getting that free marketing of them going and telling somebody else to come to this gym and try this all too. You're going to build community. When you have the community, people are going to stay, people are going to be loyal, they're going to tell their friends. And then an added selling point to make yourself different from the gym next door. So the financials, I don't want to waste too much time on it, but you can see rough numbers. After using this, you could see profits of upwards of 2,000 people if you can improve that retention. So this is my most proud point. Our current position, currently, I have the overhead costs very low, about $100 a month, maybe like $500 in already fixed costs. We are in the MVP version, and We are partnered with a local gym in Allegheny, working with them and their clients just to really validate our results. And then I've kind of slowly constructed a little bit of a team in this process. The local gym, he's a physical therapist. He provides a lot of input. He really sees the effects of how this could help his gym. I mean, he's stressed the problems of keeping people, the price, stuff like that. So he thinks this could really help improve his gym. And then accredited developer, it's an SBU grad. He's been super helpful. He runs his own developer AI company. And so he's had a lot of input into this, helping me to be successful. And then where to next? The next 1 month, I'd like to find 1 to 2 more gyms that we could keep beta testing in and really get more results. The next 3 to 4 months, we're just going to strictly test it, record data, divide that up to get some theses, stuff like that. And then 6 months, I want the app to start the process of moving on from this MVP version, get something concrete coming in. And then within the next year, I'd like to land my first gym deal. So thank you.
Thanks, Xander. A lot of AI theme, Dr. Palmer. And it's okay now, right? All right. We ready to rock, Caleb? Awesome. Caleb's doing a phenomenal job. Thanks, judges, too. You guys are doing great. Next up, we have SNL Tactical.
All right, good evening, everyone. So tonight we're very proud to present SNL Tactical Solutions. So my name's Bowen Slotman. I'm a U.S. Army soldier who brings real-world tactical knowledge to our company.
And I'm Christopher Lynn, a current intern in the defense industry, and I have experience selling products and services to the United States Department of War and our allies.
The way we fight is changing. With near-peer conflict just around the corner, the United States military has begun shifting operations to large-scale combat operations model. Because of this, we need light infantry units that are able to fight alone and unafraid for long periods of time. With this, we found that there's a problem. These units are not ready to do this at all. They're not ready to strike hard, and they're not ready to strike fast. Today's total force lacks the necessary survival skills to do this. Unlike the armies of World War II, if you were to go into any formation, it's hard-pressed to find a soldier with the necessary survival skills. Because of this, we've developed 2 products that will help our soldiers prepare for the fight ahead. Our first product is Ranger Cache. It's a small, lightweight survival kit that units would carry with them and supplement their loadout. This will allow them to fight in remote, harsh, and unique environments for a long period of time. It's a custom-designed system by our experts, and each specific mission has specific items that would go along with it. Some items that may be included are water purification systems, fire starters, or what in the military we call our evasion charts. Our second product is Battle Forge. This is a training regiment that we would offer to our soldiers to ensure they're prepared for the remote battlefields of the future. First, our experts would provide hands-on training to units, and they would be specified for specific missions and specific regions. We also have an online training program that allows soldiers to stay proficient in their survival skills. Our advantage. Our 2 products are very unique and give our customers the edge on the front lines. And there's also 3 advantages that go along with it too. First, our products go hand in hand. They teach the soldiers the skills they need to survive and also equip them with the tools they need to do so. Second, they're customizable. They're customizable in every region, at every echelon, and for every mission. And third, they're preparing soldiers for the fight ahead, not the wars of the past.
Looking at our customers, we've talked a lot about the military so far, but we actually have three main groups of customers. First is the military and our allies, as mentioned. Second is our emergency and disaster response teams. And third are outdoor organizations, such as high adventure groups or the Boy Scouts. All three of these groups need expert survival skills and gear when they're doing their activities, and we can provide that to them. So our business model. Our two distinct products will have two different business models. First, Ranger Cash will operate on an order-based business model. And then secondly, Battleforge will operate on an annual subscription-based model. We'll have two sales channels where we deliver these products to our customers. First, B2B, we have an online portal on our website. Businesses can easily log on, order a Ranger Cash for delivery, or subscribe for a Battleforge annual subscription for each member that needs it. Second, and most importantly, arguably, is our GSA schedules. GSA schedules are a contract delivery vehicle with the United States federal government. They ease the process of the government buying our products and services just as if they were a commercial company. This reduces the overhead burden on our company of expensive government contracting and allows them to fast-track the process from acquisition to implementation of our products and services. So, a little deep dive into our pricing model. Ranger Cash costs approximately $3,000 to manufacture and an approximate sell price of $5,000. This leaves us with $2,000 of margin, or about 40%. Battleforge, on the other hand, has about $250 in costs. That's maintaining our AI-enabled software, training software, and paying instructors to do hands-on instruction. With a sell price of $750 per unit, this brings us to $500 of profit, or about 67% margins. Sales projections. And before I get into the numbers here, I want to talk about our initial required investment. We're looking at a $500,000 initial investment to start up our company. This would be financed by two distinct ways, half with equity and half with debt. First, for our equity, we value our company at $1 million. By selling 25% of our company to investors, we can generate $250,000. For our debt, we're going to use the New York State Empire State Development Program to finance the remaining $250,000, as we are a New York State-based business, and we are proud of that. So, looking at our sales projections. For year one, we estimate $150,000 of sales between the two products, I should say. For year two, closer to $350,000, and by year three, over $1 million. This may look like an aggressive growth trajectory, but by studying competitors in the landscape of selling outdoor equipment and survival gear to businesses and to the United States government, we think this is actually a conservative projection of our sales opportunities. We also will break even between year 2 and 3, a healthy place for a startup like ours.
Modern battlefields require resilient soldiers and resilient logistics. SNL ensures that when supply lines break, the mission continues. Thank you.
Yet another product I never thought about needing, but certainly see the value in. Wow, you guys are just killing it with time. That's awesome. And Palmer's not even having to put his hand up that often. All right, next up we have Duplex Capital Research.
Okay. What should I invest in with the current trends and with the war in Iran? That's a lot of questions new-term investors are asking. What if I could see where the market is going before everyone else does? Good afternoon. My name is Tembi Mazibuko, and my company is Duplex Capital Research, an independent financial firm with AI intelligence delivering institutional-grade research. AI is taking over whether we like it or not. We can either complain about it or hop on the boat and use it to its best ability. Today I'm going to walk through why this business exists, who it serves, and why it will last. How does my website work? My website functions as a digital financial research platform that delivers clear, professional market insights. When a user enters the site, they're introduced to Duplex Capital Research. From there, it focuses on independent financial intelligence. You can press on View Latest Research, and you'll see the latest publications. It also includes an all-about section to establish credibility and a disclosure section to reflect industry standards. Overall, the website is structured to take complex financial data and present it as simple, organized, and accessible way of investors. So it gets all this data, all this research, and makes it as simple as possible for new-term investors, and it can make it a little bit more complicated for guys who are in firms and who are much into investing. What's the market opportunity? Let's start with the problem. Right now, if you're a retail investor, a finance student like me, or an emerging fund manager, your options for serious research are limited. The institutional research that drives real decision-making from firms like Bloomberg Intelligence or BCA Research costs anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 a year. And what's left after that? Speculative content, ad-driven newsletters, and social media noise that doesn't give real proper research. The global financial research market is valued at over $16 billion. There are more than 62 million self-directed investors in the United States alone. And that number is growing each and every day. We are targeting the massive gap between expensive institutions and low-quality, free content, single-handed investors across 3 key markets: the USA, the UK, and where I'm from, South Africa. What is our competitive advantage? So what makes Duplex Capital so different to other things? Well, first, it's institutional quality at an accessible price. We are very, very cheap. We produce structured working papers, scenarios, analysis, and quantitative frameworks with the same rigor and major researchers that the Bloomberg terminals will use, but priced for individual investors and smaller firms right now. And right now it is free just because we are at the starting stages. Number 2, true independence. We don't run ads, we don't do affiliated deals, we don't accept sponsored content. Our revenue comes from subscriptions and report sales. That means 0 conflicts of interest when we publish a view. It's our view, not a product push. And third, we have cross-market coverage. Most independent analysis focus on one market. We cover equities, fixed income, derivatives, and macro policies across the US, UK, and South Africa. The multi-regional lens is rare and valuable. Together, these create a protectable moat, proprietary brand trust, and growing subscriber base that compounds over time. So who's talking right now? Who am I? A bit about me. I am Bloomberg certified, and with that, I have a deep expertise in macroeconomic policy, capital allocation, sovereign debt markets, equity valuation, derivatives, and global capital flows. So even though I'm young, I do know what I'm talking about. I founded Duplex Capital Research and Global Capital Flows firsthand because I saw a gap in the market. I wanted to invest, I wanted to make money. I saw news, but where was I gonna get this info from? Let's be honest, no normal person can go on a Bloomberg terminal and get real information, raw information. It's hard. And you can search, you can ask ChatGPT, you can go on Instagram, but it's all fake news, and it's not trusted source. I'm a finance student who wanted to invest, but I didn't know what to invest in, and who to invest, who to trust. And to be honest, most normal teenagers have the same issue. But Duplex Capital makes it easy. This isn't a side project, it's a mission. I built this firm to bring disciplined, cross-market financial literacies to investors who deserve better. We deserve better than what's currently available. I'm the principal analyst, the editorial voice, and the strategic driver of this company. Obviously, as it grows, it will expand. What's the roadmap? How are we gonna get there? Phase 1, we're in Q3 of 2026. We're gonna launch the website, first publications, and build our email subscriber base. Q4 2026, we're gonna flip the switch, monetization, and lay out public paid subscription tiers. Phase 3, pursue institutional licensing deals. We need to get licensed to expand. And phase 4, we're gonna expand additional markets like Asia and Europe. So it's still growing, and there's still so much to do. So what is the sustainable business model? This fundamental sustainable business requiring subscription revenue combined with transactional report sales. Every news report we publish increases the value of sales and the value of our library, which increases retention and lifetime value. Digital content has near zero marginal cost per subscriber. I am running out of time, so we're going to skip. There is an impact on New York because New York is the global financial capital headquarter. That's the headquarter of Duplex Capital Research. But I just want to talk about AI. The best thing is I barely have to do anything. AI does most of the research, does it for me. And as a customer, you can just log into my website, which is loaded with information, and you can learn how to invest and what you should invest in. How do we use AI? My project integrates AI to enhance market research by analyzing financial data, identifying trends, and generating predictive insights. AI allows the platform to produce more efficient and data-driven research reports while it's personalizing content for users. I'm running out of time, so I just want to say thank you. And if you have any questions, you can just let me know. Thank you. Sorry, sir.
Check one more time. I have one more on my list, but did we have a 13th added? I have duct divers. Am I missing someone? All right, so all right, so I'm going to hand it off to duct divers.
Hi, everyone. I bet you guys all didn't know that there's nearly 3,000 house fires each year in America just because of lint buildup in dryers. That accounts for over $35 million in damages each year just in America. I'm Benjamin, and there's a problem. That problem is that people aren't regularly checking or cleaning out those dryers that they need to be cleaning out. When they don't, their dryer overheats. It can cause fires. It leads to inconvenience because you have to wait for your loads 5 or 6 times before they're not moist anymore. And it's going to cost you a lot on the energy bill. In fact, every year that you don't clean out your dryer duct, your energy bill goes up about 30%. And if you look pretty closely, which is pretty hard to, the dryer by itself already is the second highest appliance usage for the electrical bill. It can cost you about $60 more each year. Even the US Fire Administration recommends you have to have it done at least once a year. But if you add kids into the situation, or if you had pets, it's more than that. It's about 2 times per year. But they say that it's only done every 3 years to every 10 years for most residences. So that's why in May 2025, I decided to license and create my business, Duct Divers, to keep fires out of homes. At Duct Divers, my solution is to professionally clean, repair, and rebuild any dryer at any door that needs it to be done. I do it with extra care over a 30-minute service, cleaning out underneath the dryer where it gets dirty, but mostly in the duct where the problem starts. I created an easy access website to help use to my advantage on social media and for people who are reaching out for this sort of service. And the best part about my website is I have a booking appointment section where I can keep track of my customers' information and build a customer list to perpetually reach back out in years to come when the service is needed again. I also use social media like Nextdoor, Instagram, and Facebook to post social media ads, where on Nextdoor I actually got a 2025 Neighborhood Favorite Award for really good reviews and consistent output into the app. And so in total in the last summer, I was actually more focused on working as a D1 athlete for my senior year of college on the dive team, but I did put in about 80 hours of work into getting jobs and was able to prove that this is a service that is needed everywhere. In those 81 hours, I was knocking doors looking for work, and I was able to convert a job just about every 2 hours, and I was able to get 43 sales in total. I was able to profit about $3,200 in the summer, and my goal for this coming summer, when I'm able to focus more on the job itself, is to get my goal conversion rate down to 80 minutes per job. I also want to hire more salesmen to help me so the load on the technicians isn't as high, and so that we can drive more business. So why this works, there are so many customers out there that don't even know they need it to be done. I want to be able to educate everyone on the dangers of not getting this service, and I also want to be able to make sure everyone gets it done when they need it to be done. So with this business, you have repeat customers each year because it needs to be done, and being able to keep track of all of my customers' information gives me a chance to reach back out to anyone who already had interest previously. So first, I want to be able to locally dominate. I want to be able to make sure that I can prove that this works. And my phase 2 is sort of the same, but I want to systemize locally and make sure that I can have a full squad working cohesively and with a very easy systemized plan. And after that, I want to go into online training where I can do franchise deals across the nation to let people use my brand name and image, use training of the experience that I had myself, and also learn how to sell for themselves door to door just like I did to make sure that I can build this brand nationally and grow exponentially. So my long-term vision is basically to become the Orkin of dryer vent safety, because there are no companies out there that are so popular that are doing the same thing as I am. I want to be able to build a commission-based sales team model where it would work locally and nationally, and I want to be able to make sure that every single dryer is taken care of that possibly needs to be done. So I'm just asking that you guys help me save one home at a time and dive in with duck divers. Thank you.
Awesome. Great job.
Thank you so much.
You look like you want to talk, Todd. Entertain is probably a strong word. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. Yep. You're going to take the picture? Yeah. And then you get to hand out the money. Okay. I'll let you hand out the money. I have it, but you can hand it out. Yeah, where do you want them, Dr. Palmer? You want them all up top? Yep. By the way, you guys did amazing. I've never seen 12 groups get up and actually follow the directions, follow probably, if I know Tom well enough, a pretty loose rubric. But you guys all hit on everything. It was really, really amazing. And just getting up on the stage to present is probably not easy for everyone, but you guys did it great. Oh, you're taking it up there. I was trying to figure. I thought we lost a photographer. Awesome. Well, I'll just talk a little bit about Olean business development. So, are there any locals on that presented up today, or is everybody from outside the immediate Olean metropolis? So we at Olean business development, we tend to work with folks like you, right? Folks that are in startup mode, folks that are trying to grow. We try to make connections. There's resources, typically free, all over the place that you can access and get help. Most entrepreneurs are stubborn. They have their idea, they want to go on their own. Plus, they don't take the time to ask for help most of the time. So we try to help people as much as we can. There's funding possibilities that we have. There's also a huge network of entrepreneurial service organizations and business service organizations that are out there that people just typically don't know how to access. But one of the judges, Joe DeSorbo, who's a previous area resident from Olean, He's bought and sold several businesses. He lives out in Henderson, Nevada, near Las Vegas now. He started coming into the Hub. Has anybody been to the Hub in our building? Yeah, so it's our co-working and event space up in Olean. But he started coming. He actually donates a little bit of money every year in memory of his mother, who ran a small logistics business in Olean for decades. But he said, hey, I want to get more involved. What can I do to help? And I'm like, well, we tend to focus at OBDC on the front end of the process of an entrepreneur's journey, kind of the beginning, the ideation, the startup, the acceleration. We don't spend much time at the back end. So every one of you that starts a business at some point is going to want to end the business. And ending the business can happen in a bunch of different ways. Ending can be, I'm shutting it down. Ending can be, I'm selling it. Ending can be a whole bunch of stuff in between. We haven't historically spent much time on that. And we're trying to spend more time on that now with a concept called entrepreneurship through acquisition. So it sounds really fancy, ETA, but it's really buying an existing business and making it your own and maybe driving improvement. I'll give a couple of examples. So Ethan, you guys, many of you know Ethan, right? So Ethan's story is crazy, right? He was up here. Well, actually, somebody else was up here for him, but last year he was in the same classes that you guys were in. Senior at St. Bonaventure, no money to do anything, spectacular with. One of our original Lane Business Accelerator cohort members was Dion Gayton, who started Go to Meals. I don't know if anybody has heard of Go to Meals in Olean. Over $1 million in sales. 7-8 years in business, he got burnt out. I went out. Oh, by the way, he's an entrepreneur. He had another idea. He wanted to create a children's multivitamin. Put it in very specific Lego-like packaging. He's now launched that. But in the meantime, he called Tom. He called me. He called Steve McLean. Hey, I don't know what to do. I think I'm done. I don't think I can do this anymore. And we're like, whoa, hold on a minute. You've got a business that's over $1 million in revenue every year. What started out as a meal prep for athletes, a meal prep for people looking to do meal prepping throughout their week. They buy, on a Thursday they place their orders. By Sunday, Monday they get it delivered, right? They got 7 days worth of meals. That was the model. But what ended up happening was the biggest customer base he has are older folks. So folks that live out of town, whose family is still here, whose parents are still here, who don't cook, aren't used to doing anything around the kitchen. That became a huge piece of that business. So to have that go away would be a huge service loss to a pretty important part of the population, right? The aging population that we have. So one thing leads to another, and Tom's got Ethan in class, and Ethan had started doing with this, right? The pitch contest was going to be, a healthy meal prep concept. And he's like, hey, we need to introduce you to Dion. They talked a few times. He knew Dion from Eads Fitness. They were both workout hounds. And one thing leads to another. And Tom chats a little bit more as Ethan kind of gets a little bit intrigued by, the fact that Dion is getting ready to sell. And Tom's like, maybe you should just buy the business. Ethan's like, I don't have any money. How am I going to buy the business? Well, Ethan bought the business. So Ethan bought Go to Meals, closed on that in April of 25. He graduated in May of 25. He bought a house in June of 25, and he got married in July of 25. So it was quite a 4-month stint. And in September, he opened up a second location in Depew, actually a third location. He sells out of Faulkner down near Jamestown. He sells out of the Olean store, does all the prep in Olean. So that concept of entrepreneurship through acquisition, he bought a business that Dion was tired of, but was still doing well financially. And now Ethan has taken it and made it his own, added some features, and done some things. So I know you're in a startup contest tonight, right, or a pitch contest, and that's great, and keep going with the ideas that you have. But if you have that entrepreneurial spirit and are thinking about maybe I can do something else, go out there and look for existing businesses. So Joe DeSorbo, the guy that I said has come back into town asking how he can help. One thing led to another, and I don't know if any of you heard about Reseller Depot that he got started, trying to create people that have an entrepreneurial spirit and commitment to maybe learn how to do some, running a business on a small scale with Reseller Depot, which is basically Amazon pallets that you buy, break down, and resell. Because Amazon, when you do a return at Amazon, it doesn't go to some big warehouse and get put back on a shelf. It goes to another warehouse where they try to group like products, throw them on a pallet, shrink wrap it, and resell the pallet. Well, you can buy the pallet, tear it down, and resell all the individual pieces, and typically make a lot more money than that $500 or $600 a pallet that you bought. So he started that to try to create some buyers of existing businesses. There's over 300 businesses in Olean, small town, but over 300 owner-owned businesses. So 300 small businesses that are owned by entrepreneurs. If you look at the demographics of our population, it's like it is anywhere else. It's aging, right? A lot of these folks, Dion was a younger person that wanted to get out, but there's a lot of folks that have been doing it for generation, or they might be second or third generation, they've been doing it for decades. They might want to shut it down. We don't want them to shut it down. Did anybody hear the John Ash Cleaner story in Olean? The only dry cleaner in town. Last year, they had run for 80 plus years. They shut the doors. They sent out a message saying, please come pick up your clothes that might be in our storage area because we're shutting it down. That was like the end of March of 24. They closed the doors May 1st. Everybody in Olean's like, whoa, we didn't know that was happening. What happened? Well, COVID hurt them, right? Not as many people working, in their normal jobs. Most people are working, from home. They don't need the dry cleaning services. So, our goal is really to not let that happen again. So what Joe and his wife did is they bought a franchise of a business brokerage. So if you want to sell your business in Olean, you don't really have anyone to call. You're going to call a real estate agent who's going to list it and say that they know how to sell a business, but they really know how to sell buildings and houses. So Joe and his wife bought a company franchise, Transworld Business Advisors. They bought the Buffalo franchise, but they're bringing it also down into the southern tier here in Olean. So it's a methodology. It's a back office powerhouse of marketing, sales, able to help people figure out how to cost their business, what kind of a multiple could they get for the type of business that they're in a place like Olean, and be able to then take it and sell their business instead of just closing the doors. So really our goal is to not have another John Ash Cleaner story. Critical services in small towns, we want to keep them going. So just, again, a different concept. If you guys are struggling with the whole startup process, but still really want to be your own boss, really want to be an entrepreneur and have your own business, entrepreneurship through acquisition is another option. So with that, I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Palmer and let him.
Okay, I'm going to say two things. First of all, this was a really, really good group. So impressed, so impressed. I've been doing this a long time. I've been at the university for 25 years, and the ability to say that we have students like this with this caliber and what you guys are doing is absolutely makes me feel so good and so wonderful. So thank you very much. Before I'm going to let the judges talk for a couple minutes, one thing too. Everybody should know that we have this thing, Tom Cullen cannot be here today, but we actually have a director of entrepreneurship. We have done this for many years now, and we would love to get you involved. So whether you win, lose, or place, we want you to be involved. We think we have a great entrepreneurship program. We may be small, but we're really, really feisty. We are very, very much connected to the local community. So that's a big, big part of it too. We really do everything at Bonaventure. We really believe in the concept of Franciscan community, and our community extends to Olean, Allegheny, and so much farther. So I'm going to ask the judges to talk about a minute or two about their impressions, and then we'll go ahead and award the winners.
Yeah, I was very impressed. I didn't know what to expect, and you all did a really good job. Much more prepared than I thought you would be. Great slide presentation. Some people threw some video in there. I couldn't believe it, and so I'm really, really impressed, and congratulations to all of you. All the great ideas and great presentations.
Yeah, definitely impressed with everybody. It was definitely hard voting. Everybody was very prepared, especially the ones that are already out doing it right now. Like, I feel like that's huge. Believe it or not, last year I was literally in the seats that you guys are in, and it's very crazy to be up here seeing all you guys pitch, but I feel like the ones of you that are doing it right now, like, just keep going. Even if, say, Ben, when you're going to those doors, if you're not getting them, just keep doing it. You'll get them. But yeah, all you guys are impressive, and then congratulations to you all.
Hi, everybody. My name's Steve. I've done this for probably 4 years now and seen lots of pitches, and this was definitely the best group by far. I was so impressed. Everybody was well spoken and so well prepared. I was blown away. I was like, some of these businesses are actually investable. Like, you could actually raise some money, and if you wanted a partner, you could actually a couple of you could actually get some cash. So I thought that was really cool. And I work at Cutco, so I literally have trained people to do pitches for a living for the last 20 years. I've seen tons of pitches, and these were really, really excellent. So congrats, and thanks for having me.
Hi, everyone. I'm Haley. I just want to say thank you for coming here tonight and really just giving it your all. It was a really amazing performance, and I loved being able to see everyone's effort and hard work going into their performance. And yeah, just keep going and yeah, keep working hard. It's great.
Come on, Bob. Guys, can I give you the very first word of entrepreneurship, the very first instruction? Always know the man with the money. So come over here, Bob Floor. I have no money. Bob Fornes has check, has okay. Not only checks, guys, he has cash. If you want to, you can probably run to the casino and double it tonight. So it's up to you. Okay, so one other thing too. Just real quick, there are quite a few people. There are a few people here that have worked with us, and that's great. But we have a lot of people who have not worked with us before, and I think that's what also blew the judges away. It was that there was a lot of very innate talent in here that made it really, really, really incredible. The other thing I want to say is that we have the 4 categories. With the schools, and every single category has a legitimate winner. So it's not like you had anybody that said, well, even though we had I think education had a small number, it also had a very, very high number. So so I'm very, very impressed with what's going on right there. So anyway, are you ready to hear the numbers? Are you ready to hear the winners? Are we ready to hear the winners?
Yeah.
Indoor voice. Okay, so be ready to jump up here. School of Education, Connect. Yeah, you guys got to stay up here. Part of the photo op. School of Business, Rhythm. Arts and Science, Screen Time Champions. Next one, School of Journalism, Pancho. And finally, I think we gotta say this in a certain way. So what's going to happen when you have to call somebody? Who are you going to call if you have a dryer problem? Duck Divers. Overall award winner. Duck Divers. Okay, and once again, I know it can be a little bit to say that there's everybody's a winner, but I'm gonna say this: this was an incredible group. These guys said it. You guys did an excellent job. So we're hoping that you guys that are going to be around here for the next year or two, you'd like to come over to the School of Business, whether you like to take a class or whether you like to just be part of the Entrepreneurship Center. The Entrepreneurship Center is for you. So once again, guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight, and have a great evening. Do what? Oh, yes, we're competing with the NIT game. We got to do that. So can we get a photo of the winners up here? Brady, are you still here? Hey, don't run away, buddy. Yeah, Caleb, come up here. What? Well, my photographer's no longer here.